Hello, world. I'm so grateful to be with you today to talk about busting the scarcity mindset. And what I want from this live stream for you is some internal peace, PEACE, right? Because busting the scarcity mindset takes some grit, right? It takes some work. It's an ongoing thing that we must be doing in our lives, frankly, every day, sometimes every hour. And when we learn how to do that, when we find a way that serves us, that we can bust our scarcity thoughts, shove them out, replace them with the good thoughts, there's peace, PEACE. And that's what I want for you. So, the chapter that I'm covering today, I'm actually going backwards and I'm going to be working on chapter number 8, which is journaling, which can be written or mental. Now, there's definitely two schools of thought out there, but I'm one of those people that think journaling can be mental. Your purpose. And purpose is a toughie, right? A lot of people that have done some inner work are clear on their purpose. Then there's people that haven't done the work or maybe are just in a new phase in life and they're not clear on their purpose. Nevertheless, if we can get intentional is another word to use, or purposeful about who we are being out in the marketplace, then we can get even better results. So what this looks like for me, and here's what I want you to do while I'm talking about this, is think about what it looks like for you, is that I start every single morning making sure that I feed my prosperity thinking brain, which, yes, still has to bust scarcity mindsets every day, right? It's not that I don't get into them. It's just a question of how quickly I get out of them. So I start every single day making sure that I feed my prosperity thinking brain with some inspirational thoughts. Now, I like to use the word spiritual thoughts, but if that doesn't work for you, use the word inspirational. So what does that look like? For me, it literally means sometimes on my phone reading my Bible lesson underneath the covers to not disturb my sweet husband, Todd, in order to feed the thought that I want in the morning. Sometimes what that looks like, because I live on a farm and I have to get out and do chores and feed the alpacas and all that, it's I'm walking to the barn and I'm listening. I'm just being still and quiet. I mean, I'm physically walking, but I'm quieting my mind, my brain, if you will. And I'm listening to what Father, Mother, God has to say to me during that walk. It's about a 10-minute walk to the barn. Now, there are other mornings that I get to spend a longer time reading inspirational material. Maybe I finish the Bible lesson or I turn to another book that provides inspirational or spiritual food to my brain so that I can then go forward with purpose in my day as it relates to serving, because I believe we were put on earth to serve. Frankly, I believe retirement in the typical definition is a very selfish act, and I don't want any part of that. I also believe that 87 is the new 65. We'll talk another time about the math behind that one. In fact, I think it's in Busting Scarcity Mindset, the book that is coming out that is your guide to prosperity thinking. And this is what we want for you. It's that peace that you have when you can gain financial freedom, not because there's a bunch of money in an account, but because you know that you can be a value creator every single day. And that when you create value, there is an opportunity to earn money. And the cool thing is, you can teach this to somebody that's 3 or 103 and everywhere in between. So, in addition to wanting this peace for you, I have a very specific tactic that I talk about in chapter 7. I've got the book over here, and that is developing in your life a complaint-free world. This is a concept by Will Bowen. He has a book of the same name, Complaint-Free World. You can find him on YouTube and in many places on social media. And he talks about the value of being complaint free. Now, this is a lifelong habit to work on. I still have to work on it all the time. And it looks like this. You walk into a restaurant and it feels cold. Well, you can either complain about the air conditioning, or you can go out in the car and get a jacket or bring one with you. I know I do because I think everywhere is cold as it relates to air conditioned spaces. So, what you're doing is you're realizing that sometimes it is appropriate to complain about something. And when you do, make sure it's to someone that can do something about it. Otherwise, zip it, right? Like, don't even make the comment. The same is true about the weather, unless you've got a direct connection to the creation of the weather. And frankly, I believe we all have a direct connection to Father, Mother, God, but nevertheless, it's not about the weather. Then be quiet about the weather. Go get something on or take something off so that you are okay with the weather, and fill instead your commentary with gratitude. Now, in this particular chapter of the book, I also talk about the value of gratitude before getting, right? A lot of times we say something that's in the grateful category because what we really want is to get. And we want to shift that around. We want to be truly grateful, unattached from whatever may come our way. And this, again, is something that we have to work on. We are so ingrained in our habits. In fact, Dan Sullivan, my strategic coach, says we are 100% disciplined to our existing set of habits. And so what we want to do here is focus on adding in new habits. And gratitude is something that we can really easily add into our daily, hourly lives. And there's a couple things that we can do to up-level our gratitude. One is to be very specific. So rather than just, I'm grateful it's a sunny day outside, how about adding the why? I'm grateful it's a sunny day because, or in order to, like, so that I could go play outside. Or so that, like, get the why there. Maybe it's, I want to work on the garden today. So that's the first thing, to add in the specifics of the thing that you're grateful for and the why. And the second thing is to up level it one more notch by adding something inspirational or spiritual. So I'll give you another example. When we had a dog, Emma dog, our Great Dane, is no longer with us. Nevertheless, when we had a dog, it was important for me to be grateful for the dog because, as you know, sometimes they make messes and you can get really mad at said dog. So it's important to call out the gratitude when it's there. Well, there's obvious things, right? She's soft, she's playful, etc. Well, what's the inspirational or spiritual aspect of Emma the dog? Well, it's that there's unconditional love there. There's always amazing happiness, that she's very attuned and aligned with how I'm feeling, right? Those are the inspirational or spiritual aspects of Emma Dog. So you can choose something that you are grateful for that's in the material scene. There's nothing wrong with that. Just also up level it and add to it that inspirational aspect. So you've got the material aspect and then the inspirational or the spiritual aspect. To quote my new friend, Stacey Gray, it's the earthly and then the earthling. She's got a great word there. I'm not sure I'm getting it right. Nevertheless, you get the point there. And that is what we get by focusing on appreciation. I'll share another specific thing here as I'm wrapping up, and that is sometimes we have to set aside our expectations in order to focus on appreciation. I think there's probably a famous quote out there by somebody, Tony Robbins, maybe, I can't remember, in the space of setting aside expectations, because we all go into things with certain expectations of what we want, but sometimes those just need to get set aside and bring in appreciation instead. So these are some specific things that some were in the book, some were not in the book. This is an extra little series of tips for you that I'm doing on these live streams as we work towards launch day for busting the scarcity mindset, your guide to becoming a prosperity thinker. Join me.